Hello, everyone. My name is Shalina, and I'm an herbalist and the founder at Fiery Maple Holistic Healing. And we're located in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I just love learning about the healing power of nature and different natural health modalities, both new and ancient. And today I'm here with my friend and colleague, Rob Meyer-Kukan. Hello, Rob.
Hello.
And he is, his business is called Seven Notes Natural Health. He is a musician, he is a massage therapist, and a Reiki practitioner and instructor. I believe he's also a student, so he can tell us what else he's studying. And he is also a singing bowl or sound bath healer. And
Yes.
yes, that is actually really, I'm sure Rob can tell us about other things he does as well. He is quite the Renaissance man. But today I've invited him to speak with me about sound baths and singing bowls and vibrational therapy specifically. And so welcome, Rob.
Well, thank you for having me on today.
I'm happy to have you. Can you tell us just a little bit about what exactly a sound bath is, or what exactly vibrational therapy is, and also how you discovered it and what made you want to pursue it as a career?
Sure. Yeah. So, sound bath, that's a really great question. A lot of people hear that title or that name for an event, and they think, I'm going to go take a bath with a bunch of people I don't know. Do I have to bring a towel or a swimsuit? And so really what it comes down to is this wonderful, beautiful, emerging field of sound therapy. And so the instruments that I use in my practice are metal and crystal singing bowls, Himalayan singing bowls and crystal singing bowls, some gongs and some other instruments. And in a vibrational sound therapy session, we take the bowls and put them both on and around the body of the client, and we play them. And the purpose of playing the bowls is to bring the vibration, the frequency of those beautiful bowls near to or onto the body to help the body to relax and to calm down. So a sound bath is a large group session for many people to receive, whereas individual session may just be a one-on-one session with the practitioner. So the sound bath gives a large group of people an opportunity to come to a space where they can sit or recline or lay in shavasana, while a
Mhm.
sound practitioner, myself, would then play any of a myriad of instruments. Like I said, the instruments that I primarily use are Himalayan singing bowls, crystal singing bowls, and we're now starting to introduce gongs into our sound baths and the practice.
Oh,
And how I got into them is a bit of a circuitous story. So you mentioned that I am a musician, so I have a bachelor's degree in church music. And for the last 20 years, I have been serving in churches and schools in Southeast Michigan as music director. And one of the ensembles that I have been privileged to direct in over these many years is an ensemble of English handbells. And English handbells oftentimes are seen around the holidays, playing Christmas tunes. But English handbells are a legitimate instrument that are played all year long by teams or choirs of handbell musicians. And one of the techniques that we use in English handbells is to take a dowel and rub it around the rim of the bell, which creates a sustained sound. Because a bell is a percussion instrument, and when you hit the clapper of the bell, the sound is made, but then it just begins to decay. There's no sustain. But if you drag the stick around the edge of the bell, it creates this beautiful sustained sound, which is directly taken from the tradition of the Himalayan singing bowl by taking the stick and running it around the rim of the bowl. So as a massage therapist and as a handbell musician, a friend of mine introduced me actually to a training about using the Himalayan singing bowls in your therapeutic practice. And it was at her encouragement that I checked out the course. I had never had a session before until I went to the training, but I thought this would be kind of a cool thing. I was familiar with the bowls, and I thought, why not include them in my practice? And the moment I had my first session, I was hooked.
Oh,
And so
nice.
that's how we got into it.
So it sounds like it was a very natural progression
Absolutely.
and that you were almost led to it.
I it was I always, I always say it was no joke that the timing of everything happened the way that it did. Um, the training course was just 2 weeks after my mother passed, and
Mm.
there was a little bit of time where I thought, I had been off because my mother had been ill, and then the time for the memorial and things. And I thought, how can I take a whole week and go to this training while I've been off all of this time? And my family and loved ones said, this is the perfect time for you to immerse yourself in this type of therapy. And so I'm so glad that I
Mm.
did, and I had such beautiful experiences in the training, and I think that that only deepened the sort of love affair that was destined to happen. But it was very, very meaningful and very healing for me as well.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that.
Sure. Yeah.
So, like I mentioned, you're also a massage therapist and a body worker or
Hmm.
energy worker.
Hmm.
And how you combine those modalities with the vibrational singing bowls?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I think that this is one of the things that I love the most about how my practice has evolved over the years. When I first started out, I was very sort of compartmentalized. So you came in and you chose what kind of modality you wanted. So we spend an hour doing Reiki, or we do an hour of Swedish, or we just do an hour of therapeutic work, focusing on an acute situation or chronic thing that we're trying to get through and get past. But very quickly after being in business, I realized that there were a lot of these modalities that really worked beautifully and worked really well together and could pair and partner in. So a client who was extremely stressed and needed to relax could really benefit from a little bit of Reiki in part of their session. So we kind of did away with that sort of compartmentalized model, and it really led to a really integrative approach. So when you come for a session with me, you just book a session, an hour, 90 minutes, or 2 hours. And then when you get there, we decide in that moment what's going to be the best thing for you. So maybe we incorporate
Mhm.
some aromatherapy. Maybe we do a little bit of time with some energy work, or we begin a session with the bowls to help you sort of center and relax, get you nice and calm. Or maybe we end the session with the bowls because we've done some really deep work trying to get at some deep fascial pain or that type of a thing. So I love integrating all sorts of different modalities into one session, and I think that that's a strength that I bring to the community, and something that I think people really find a ton of benefit from.
Well, it sounds like that you are providing a very unique experience that really can't be replicated elsewhere, and that is very customized to not just the person, but to the person on that day.
Yes.
And while you were explaining it, it made me think that your background as a musician and a composer is perfect because what else does a composer do but kind of like weave things together and make
Yeah.
something new and beautiful and, like you said, an emerging
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so actually that brings me to my next question. Have you ever created custom healing tracks for clients?
Yes, actually, um, that was sort of the first thing that I did when we got into the current health crisis that we're in, and everything had to sort of to stop. I offered to make individual recordings for clients to use. I have a full-length CD that I have recorded with my bowls that some people have purchased, is available on my website, and Amazon Music and iTunes as well. Um, but for several weeks at the beginning of the shutdown and the sheltering in place, I had a digital sound meditation subscription that people could get customized tracks for whatever they were hoping for, whether it was help with meditation or just relaxation. So yeah, that's something I love doing.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit more about that process?
Sure. Yeah. So simply, you just contact me, let me know what you're interested in, and then I make a recording and I send it to you as an MP3 through your email. And so it's easy to listen to right on your device or your computer. You put it in your iTunes or whatever player you use. Pretty straightforward and simple. Yeah.
I love it. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay, so now to your favorite sound bath experience
Uh,
or singing bowl experience, and it can be either as a practitioner or as a participant.
mhm.
Can you share that with
So
us?
if it's okay, I'd like to share both.
Okay.
So the first is having been the practitioner on Valentine's Day, February 14th of this past year is World Sound Healing Day. And so I held a sound bath at the office, and it was the first time I got to play my gong in public. And the combination of the bowls and the gong together just far superseded any expectations I had, and I was flying high for the longest time. So as a practitioner, that was a real beautiful moment, favorite moment of mine. As a participant, there's a wonderful practitioner in the Chicago area. His name is Preston Click, K-L-I-K. And if you're ever in the Chicago area, I highly recommend getting in touch with him and seeing if he's playing. When we're allowed to be in proximity with one another again, I'm sure he will get back to playing in-person events again. And he's fairly prolific in his schedule, very active. So it's probably not hard to get in with a session with Preston. And he plays all over the Chicagoland area. And Preston is a phenomenal human being. He is love incarnate, and
Mhm.
you see it and hear it in all of his playing. He held a sound bath um, 2 years ago on my birthday. He didn't hold it for my birthday, but it just so happened to be on my birthday, in a 100-year-old chapel that is right in the center of one of the oldest and most historic cemeteries in Chicago. This cemetery
Wow.
has Confederate soldiers buried in it. There's a lot of history, and the space is absolutely beautiful. And the experience was just eh, out of this world, and his playing was so inspired. He had another musician join him, a gentleman who came and did some Gregorian chant while he played the gongs and the bowls, and oh, it was just, I just get chills thinking about it. So that's a favorite experience as a participant.
Ah, it sounds like that was a beautiful experience.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Thank you for sharing. I
Sure.
did have a follow-up question about your favorite experience as a practitioner.
Hmm.
You mentioned your gong. I want to know, does it have a name? And also, what made that gong so special? Like, what's its provenance? Where did it come from?
Sure. Yeah. So, the nuts and bolts of things is, the gong was purchased from a company called Gongs Unlimited. They're a wonderful supplier of gongs, and this gong is a 32-inch Chinese wind gong, and we don't have time to talk about all the different kinds of gongs, but it is a big, round, bronze gong that has been lathed, which means it's been spun around, and the charred bits that leave sort of a dark patina on the metal from the processing of the creation of the instrument are taken off, which means it's golden shiny.
Oh,
And it the gong's name is Bernice, and she was named, I asked on social media for some suggestions, and then muscle tested it, and Bernice was the name that resonated the strongest. Bernice is the word, or means bringer of victory. And so I just thought it was a really beautiful correlation for this instrument that will bring so much to the lives of people, and has already just enhanced my life in so many ways. And so yeah, she's pretty spectacular, and she's got a lot to say, which is cool.
oh my, I am
Yeah.
so glad I asked.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for giving us such wonderful information. Before you
absolutely.
go, can
Uh-huh.
you please tell us where you're located
Hmm.
and how one can learn more? Where can they, we know we're in a little bit of a unusual situation with the current pandemic, but how can people see you? How can they contact you? How can they benefit from your practice?
Yeah, so my practice is located in the Packard office complex at Packard Road and US 23 on Ann Arbor's southeast side. We have a beautiful space there. And currently, I am offering, in this time of public health crisis and sheltering in place, I'm offering online sound baths via Facebook Live on my Facebook page, which is Rob Meyer-Kukan LMT. And so you can find things there, or you can find more information at my website, which is just my name, robmeyerkukan.com. No hyphen, just all the letters, robmeyerkukan.com. Or you can message me on Facebook or email me. There's a link on my website to do that, to get in contact with me. Once we're able to be open again and everything's safe to and approved to gather, we'll get back to doing things following all the proper public health advisements and precautions, of course. But that's the way people can get a hold of me for right now.
Okay, wonderful. And I will make sure to include all that information wherever I post this video.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you again so much for joining me and for giving us a wonderful inside look into sound baths and singing bowls.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.